life's journey, we all meet strange people and undergo many experiences that touch us and sometimes even change us. If you have a sensitive mind, you will see your life too is a vast storehouse of stories. For many, the foundation is a charitable organization of a branch of a rich company. For me, it is something closest to my heart. Initially, I was a mother to it. Somewhere along the line, it has become the mother and I the child.
It's her passion and commitment to use what she's been blessed with for the benefit of others that keeps Sudha Murty ticking. Very few are aware of Sudha Murty's achievements. She's single-handedly evangelizing the move towards corporate social responsibility. She's worked for almost a decade to change the lives of children in the heart of rural Karnataka by giving them access to food and education. She's an author with 92 books in almost every Indian language to her credit. She's one half of India's most celebrated entrepreneurs. She speaks her mind, shies away from the limelight, and truly practices what she preaches. Let's get up close and personal with Sudha Murty. Mrs. Murty, thanks very much for joining us on Up Close and Personal. Now, you are in the sense the angel investor behind one of India's largest entrepreneurial success stories. It was your 10,000 rupees that started it off. But purely as a person, purely as Sudha Murty, what is this success story meant to you?
What do you call success? How do you define depending on that? I gave 10,000 rupees not thinking I'll get a great return. Here is a man who is dreaming of a company, and he told me, without you, your support, it's difficult for me to start, and I helped him. That's what I consider, not more than that.
But did you think, or did you believe in the vision that he had? Did you ever think that Infosys was going to turn out to be what it is today?
No, no. I only knew that Murty is a very honest person, very hard-working person, and he wants to do something. And he told me, I require 3 years of your hard work. I know I will not be able to earn. You have to manage the family, and give me the initial investment. And I said, okay, let him do. See, when you don't have many things, then you don't get scared.
Yeah.
Suppose I had
it's easier taking a risk because you don't have anything to lose to start
with. What
is
there? What I would have lost? Only 3 years in my career. That's okay, I told. Let him try 3 years. In case it doesn't work out, he'll come back and will become like a software engineer, continue.
Okay.
That's all I thought.
Okay, but he also gave you the choice, and he said that both of you couldn't be at Infosys together. He gave you the choice of joining Infosys, but you chose to pull back and not do it. At any point in time, did you think that maybe you would have liked to have gone on?
No, it was very hard for me. It was not easy decision because in 68 I joined engineering college, and 72 I was graduated, where there was not a single girl was there in the university. A person like me who was so career conscious, one so fond of technical things, it was very hard. But Murty, being a very strong person, he said either you or me, either it's a black or white, or 1 or 0, digital. When he said, then I thought practically if I am in, then he is out. And when you start a company, you have to run around, stay away from the family, everything you have to do. And there you can't play the card, I'm a female, I can't be away from the family, I can't be away from the children. That is not practically possible. Second thing, I knew children require their mothers in an early stage of life. Later when they grow up, they don't require. Whatever value system you can teach, it's only in those crucial years. So thinking that, I said okay. And I made the decision, but my heart was very, very heavy. It took many years for me to reconcile, saying that, I'm not part of the team Infosys. Technical way I'm talking. And I was capable of it. Is not that.
But couldn't you have gone back once your children grew up? Couldn't you have then gone back to Infosys?
By that time, I realized it is not only technical thing that's great in life. There are many things in life which are very, very important. So what? One window is closed to me in life, but God opened a door to me, and that is Infosys Foundation.
But you talked about those 3 years, the 3 years that you had to make the sacrifice of bringing home the bread and butter while Mr. Murty actually started Infosys. But now everybody sees you as, the wife of one of India's biggest corporate czars, the man who's written about. How has that been, that adjustment from a man who couldn't pay for tea and coffee when you went out on a date with him to a man now who's running $1 billion company?
And that is too in a small period of 25 years, It's something unbelievable. I think success formula, you cannot define only hard work. Success formula is extremely complex. Hard work, honesty, right opportunity, and a matter of luck. Altogether probably is the root cause of this great success. I find it very hard at times that where did I lose my golden days?
You feel like you've lost the golden days?
Of course I feel that, because those were the days where we were carefree, we were easy to get along with people. People never expected, my friends never expected anything from me, nor my relations any expected anything from me. Life was so easy, like anyone now, middle class people. Today the situation is so different.
Have your relationships become transactional? Do people now talk to you or meet you or associate with you because they want something from
I
you?
I think, it becomes so hard to find out a genuine friend, genuine relation, because everything is a transaction in one or other way. It could be money, it could be a job, it could be an association. And somewhere I feel I lost the golden days where...
So it's been a lonely journey, hasn't it?
Of course, when your husband builds a company like Infosys along with his teammates, it is like a tapas. In olden days, people used to say, that fellow did a tapas, okay? That means 100% concentration on his work. And God is so intelligent, irrespective of a human, your status or gender, He gives everybody only 24 hours. And Mr. Murty used all these 24 hours for one purpose, that is Infosys. What is left for me and children was hardly anything. And I became like a single parent with 2 children. Murty never knew which class they were in. And he never went to school, any PTA. He only came to know when children went to college level. And children grew up all the time with me. And I know I have to struggle with them, their PTA, their progress report, their holidays. Life was...
But did you never complain? Did you not regret? Did you not tell him that, this was something that was bothering you, or you just decided to make the sacrifice because you believed in what he was out to do?
Excellence, there is no compromise. A passion and a hard work only can produce that kind of a thing. So I understood his life and I accepted it. I never ever complained. You can check with Mr. Murty. In my 30 years of my married life, not even once I complained.
But that's also because you're also a very fiercely independent person. From whatever I've read about you, whatever I've seen about you, you found your life, your voice, you created your own identity besides being Mrs. Narayana Murty, which is what has kept you going for so long.
Because I believe that every human being should run their own marathon. And this was taught to me when I was a young girl by my grandfather, who was a Sanskrit scholar. He told a very beautiful shloka. He said, Krishna is respected not because he is son of Vasudeva, not because he is husband of Rukmani, not because he is a father of Aniruddha, not because he is Yashoda's adopted son, because Krishna himself was a different person. Similar in real life, it is nice that you are related, you are married, all those things, but you are what you are. And I always believed my own strength, my own weakness, my own way of thinking. That helped me a lot to achieve probably what I liked.
But do you consider yourself a feminist? Because I know that you were the first engineer to actually work at Telco, and you actually shot off a letter to JRD Tata saying that the Tatas shouldn't be gender discriminatory. But are you a feminist in that sense?
I really do not know how do you define what is real feminist and what is quote feminist. I do not know. I felt when I was 23 years old, there was a gender difference, and I must inform that to Mr. Tata, because I was in their institute, I was studying. The greatness is not me writing a letter. I always say the greatness was with JRD, not with me. He was a chairman, he was a big man, he had many companies, and he gets a postcard from an unknown girl from a small town known as Hubli, doesn't have any connection, not from a big corporate house, doesn't even know anybody in place like Bombay or Pune, and daughter of a middle class doctor family. She writes a letter, Mr. Tata, you are wrong, and he accepts it in a positive way, and he says, here the girl should be called for an interview, and that I feel very great person.
But that's part of your personality, isn't it? You're very forthright, you speak your mind, you're blunt even at some points, and very different from Mr. Murty, because he's still more tactful and diplomatic, isn't he?
Yeah, Maybe because of that I have more enemies and less friends.
Why enemies? What would you have done wrong to anybody?
No, what happens, when people expect some money and I say, no, your causes are not good, I don't give. You expect them, they will be very nice to me, they won't.
So people's perception of you doesn't bother you anymore?
Normally, normal circumstance, it doesn't.
And you don't do things just to please people. So you won't do the weddings and you won't go for the social functions or anything because it doesn't bother you whether they think that you're doing it out of a sense of duty or obligation? No.
It doesn't bother me.
But Mr. Murty still does that, doesn't he?
Probably in his position it requires. See, you have to look Mr. Murty not because he's my husband. He's in a different role. He was the chairman of a company, a well-known company, and he has many clients. So his transactions with his clients are so different. And mine is with the poorest of the poor people. And
do you feel like a misfit as part of corporate India's jet set crowd?
Probably, because I'm definitely not in a corporate scenario. If you fit me, I may not fit.
Did Mr. Murty ever say that maybe you should try? No, that
never, ever.
Never.
Actually, both of us have this equation that we never criticize each other's paths or cross. For example, Mr. Murty never tells me you should not give money to these people or you should give money to these people. And not even once in my 10 years in foundation, Murty has insisted for any project money should be given, either personally or officially.
When you were courting each other in Pune, it was movies and coffee shops and so on and so forth. But beyond that, you've also evolved into two very different human beings. He's got a very different set of, not friends or maybe associates or affiliates. You've got a very different life. How have the two of you evolved and still managed to stay connected?
Because you have to understand a person. No, when you are young, your expectation from your partner is different, but over a period of time you should remember that people change and we also change. Male changes, female change, both of them change, but you should understand what is the reason. I understood why Murty has become very serious, in 25 years. He wasn't like this. He has become more and more introvert, hardly smiles probably, okay? I can't remember Murty, when did he smile last, that kind. Whereas I have become much more open than before because, I have to communicate a lot more to people. When the person is crying, I can't say, oh, it's their headache, and the person is lame, the person is blind, I can't say, it's their headache and I walk out. No, I sit with them. I talk to them. I said, look, what's the problem? What can I help? In what way I can help? I connect people because I have learned over a period of time, every human being is an island. And the only way you can connect is through a bridge, and the bridge is a relationship. It is compassion, it is kind words, it is not always money, I work with sex workers and it was very hard for me to connect with them, because there everybody used to think I'm a school teacher and it was a good image, otherwise they will never open up.
That's right.
And later I developed friendship with them and they told me, we don't want money from you. You should listen our stories and give your sympathetic ear to me. And there I realized philanthropy does not mean always money. Philanthropy means to be compassionate to somebody's difficulty.
A lot of people think that, you can buy your own jet, you can buy condominiums in the south of France and so on and so forth, yet you will travel air deck and yet you continue to live in a 3-bedroom apartment, that you're maybe, the one extreme of people sort of wearing their wealth on their sleeves and making a statement with money, but you're the other extreme.
Because I'm not a rich man's daughter. My father was a professor and a doctor. My grandfather was a school teacher. I come from a distinguished academic background family, and I have seen so much difficulties of many people in life, and money can buy you comforts, it can help you to build infrastructure, but money is not all in life at all.
But to go to the extent of, I believe you haven't bought anything for yourself in 5 years, you've
15 years.
15 years, stopped shopping altogether, to go to that extreme?
Because I really feel I'm contented inside, I don't require. I really don't require, I feel repulsive when I go to a shop, can you imagine? I feel extremely uncomfortable when I'm in a shop. I said, what am I doing?
Were you like this though, before Infosys happened and before
no.
the money happened?
Before the money, maybe to some extent I used to go, or maybe when you get too much money, probably you lose interest in buying, that could be one of the reasons. But maybe from the beginning I was not a great shopper. Maybe because I had lost small amount of money, I never shopped also. Later I lost that and I felt looking at so many difficulties that how does it matter if I wear such an expensive thing? whom I want to prove, what I want to prove. And to great extent, because this book helped me a lot, which was taught to me again when I was 19 years old, the conversation between the Lord of Death, Yama, and the young boy Nachiketa, how you should look at life. Look at life in the eyes of death. That is known as the Kathopanishad. And I really learnt it, but I never understood much. And later part of my life, I realized nothing is permanent in life. What exists, everything perishes. And I'm greatly influenced by Buddhism. A great extent, Buddha says, what exists, it perishes. When everything is perishable, why worry about it?
But have you been able to translate your philosophy and the way that you've been brought up and the way that you've lived your life to your children as well? Because they've been exposed to money from the beginning. You weren't, but they've been exposed to money from the beginning. They've been living and studying in the best schools and colleges abroad. Do they see life the way that you see life?
They won't see exactly the way, but when they, to some extent, I have, they can understand and they can follow. One year I remember he sent me a birthday greeting. Every mother works for their children. My mom worked for somebody else's children, and happy birthday. And where this soft word came from a young boy of 20. Probably it is the love or the compassion he has seen, he has learned in his formative years.
Speaking of growing up and building Infosys, the 7 founders have of course stayed together. They're still part of the company. The wives had a great equation as well. I believe you'd babysit for each other, you'd all cook together, go out picnics together and holiday together. Have you managed to keep the Infosys Wives Club alive as well? Do you still interact with each other?
Initially yes, because all of us have put in the same amount of hard work. I really feel there is nothing, somebody has put more, somebody has put less. All of us worked very hard. We are like all sisters probably, and very close, and Rohini looked after my son probably better than I looked after, and she learned Kannada with him, and she would sing so many songs for him, and my son Rohan is so much attached to her even today. And when Rohan left abroad, it's the Rohini who cried more than me. She thought, oh, Rohan has gone, he will come after so many years. And I said, Rohini, come on, children have to grow up. Sudha Gopalakrishna looked after my daughter Akshata very much, and because they used to look after my children, I could come to Infosys office and do the remaining work. Kumar used to cook for so many people. That way we all shared difficult times. But today, now everybody is very busy with their own foundations.
So yeah, you've got the Infosys Wives Foundation now. That's
Exception
right.
is me that I don't have foundation.
That's
I
right.
work for Infosys.
Infosys, that's true. And Rohini has her own foundation that she's looking at.
And it's not that we don't want to meet, but we have become so busy with our own foundation work, which is not a joke, because it is enormous amount of commitment.
But apart from the philanthropy, you said Mr. Murty has become very, very serious now, but do you still manage to take out time for the indulgences that you used to enjoy? I mean, you like going to movies and so on and so forth, music. Does any of that still happen?
No, Murty doesn't come to movie at all actually. Maybe 20, 25 years I have not seen any movie. Recently I took him for a movie, and he was saying how we should improve the quality. Now he looks everything, how we should improve the quality, how we should go to Oscar, that kind. I think Murty, let's enjoy.
He's looking for excellence in everything, is it?
Yeah, and he doesn't. And again, Murty doesn't enjoy what he used to enjoy before. No.
So he's a different man. He's not the same man you married.
Yeah, he's so different today.
But any regrets really along the road? Because I know you would have liked to spend more time with your husband. You would have liked for the family to be together a lot more. But any regrets that maybe things could have been different? You would have liked to do things differently?
For everything there is a price. For example, if I really want to give away that kind of a wealth in a philanthropy, then my husband has to earn that kind of a wealth, right? To earn that kind of a wealth,
he's got to work 24 hours a day.
If I want to financially help people, and Murty should not work, should be with me, that are no contradictory, that is not possible. So I accepted this life, in this life, nothing is free except mother's love.
Thank you very much again for joining us.
I enjoyed, Shereen.
Thanks very much.